Hey guys, DJ 12 back for another edition of 12's Kitchen. You know, I have had a really good time putting together this series for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed the process of trying to teach you guys some stuff that I like to do in the kitchen. So, that being said, I got some really exciting stuff on deck for you today. So come on back and see what I got in store for you. DJ 12 is 12's Kitchen. We'll see you in a sec. Hey guys, welcome back to 12's Kitchen. So today's theme is Rhapsody. And no, not the Rhapsody you're thinking about on BET with Big Tigger. And no, the shirt was kind of throwing you off because you thought I got the hip hop shirt. We're going to be busting some flows and some rhymes in 12's Kitchen today. Well, not exactly. Although even though 12 is a DJ now, 12 used to be a rapper back in the day. Went by the name of High Noon. See that 12 reference coming in there? So instead of rap like city, it is Rhapsody. W-R-A-P City. So here's the deal. While the pandemic is not over, a lot of people have started going back to work. And a lot of people may say, 12, well, now that I'm going back to work, I don't really have a lot of time to prep. I need all of my stuff to be on the go. Well, that is why we decided to do Rhapsody Rap. That's W. Why we decided to do Rhapsody for you guys today. Yeah, sometimes you got to have stuff that's on the go. You got to have it quick. You got to have it fast. And I know a lot of our previous episodes, we have spent a lot of attention to detail on certain techniques and aspects of meal prep. So today we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible, give you something to get you in, get you out, and get you going. So that's what this episode is dedicated to. This is Rhapsody. And I want to show you guys my mise en place as always. You know I always want to stress mise en place. So I want you to take a look at how I got everything laid out to get us in and out of the kitchen, get these wraps done. All right, you see we got everything laid out for us to assemble these wraps and do them as efficiently and as fast as possible. So we're going to go with 3 wraps today, and we'll get into each one of them individually. But I just want to show that we got the mise en place ready. Stove is ready. I try not to break out too many more utensils than I actually need. But yeah, just make sure you got your mise en place down. Just because it'll save you a lot less time in the kitchen overall. Okay? All right. So we're going to get started on our first wrap, which is our breakfast burrito. So, getting started with Rhapsody. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and in many cases it is. So you want to make sure that you got yourself something to get you fueled up, get you going, help you push through that morning so you can get to lunchtime and eventually get off of work. But you know, we needed something to get started in the morning. So we're going to start with our breakfast wrap, or breakfast burrito, however you like to call it. It's going to have a nice little spicy kick from our Chipotle cream sauce that we made a few episodes back. So right now we got our cast iron skillet over medium-low heat. The secret to perfectly scrambled eggs is cooking them on a lower heat. All right, we're gonna get some butter in the pan. You know, because if you cook them too hard and cook them too fast, they develop that brown that we don't really like on our eggs. I mean, you know, brown is cool for an omelet, but for scrambled eggs, you want them nice and yellow and fluffy. So we don't want the heat to be too high. All right, and we want to actually give these a little time to cook as evenly as possible without getting that brown, those brown edges on them. And then, you know, when you cook them a little too long, they develop a different kind of smell, that sulfur type smell. We don't like that. So right now we're going to go ahead and get our eggs in the pan. Our pan is nice and warm. It's nice and warm. We don't want to hear that, you know how we talked about the violent sizzle or the gentle sizzle or just that medium sizzle. In this case, you want to hear a small little rumble when you put the eggs in the pan. Let's see. See, you didn't hear that because I didn't have the camera close enough. But that's just what you want, that nice little gentle rumble that lets you know the eggs are going to cook nice and evenly. So we keep that heat. You may turn the heat down a little bit lower and give you a good look at this. Hang on. All right, so what we have right now, see, the cooked edges we want to pull from the sides and allow the uncooked to fill up the remainder of the pan. Get that working around there. Yeah, pull those from the sides, get that uncooked liquid into the warm pan. Alright. And let those cook. While we're waiting for this, we're going to pop our low carb wrap into the microwave to get it pliable enough to get a good wrap on our breakfast burrito. Alright, so we're going to let this cook a little bit longer. We'll be right back. Alright, so now that our eggs are fully cooked and scrambled, we're now ready to go ahead and put this wrap together. Alright, once the eggs are cooked, you want to make sure you scramble them off the heat so that they don't get any more of that heat from the stove. And the residual heat from the eggs will keep them warm. So we want to have some warm eggs that go on top of our fixins that we're going to put inside the burrito. So, and one of those fixins is cheese. We want the warm eggs to gently melt the cheese. We don't need it to be gooey melted. Although, if you like gooey melted, you can always throw the cheese in with the eggs. Like right before the eggs start to set is a good time to throw your cheese in. But I like to put the cheese in separate. So, we're going to get started building this wrap. Alright? So we're going to start with our chipotle sauce that we made a couple of days ago. Spread that nice and even. And you want to get fairly good coverage on the low carb wrap. These things are like a godsend to me, by the way. I really have been trying to be more low carb. I discovered these in the grocery store and I've been sticking with them ever since. Alright, so we've got our chipotle sauce down. We're going to lay down a couple of slices of avocado. And you can omit the avocado if you like. I like them. They're a good healthy fat. They make these wraps really filling. Alright, so lay down a little bit of avocado in there. Alright, then we're going to go ahead and throw some cheese down. Oh yeah. Throw some cheese down. Ooh. Alright, then we've got some bacon that we crisped up in the oven on a baking sheet and a wire rack. basically like 2 pieces of bacon that I just chopped up. All right, now for our eggs. And I usually cook 2. I like mine to be chock full of protein. 1 egg is sufficient. The wrap itself is pretty high in protein as well as the bacon. So you can go with 1 egg or 2, whichever you prefer. I'm going to be like 1.5 here. And I prefer the bigger wraps, like the burrito size wraps, as opposed to the taco size wraps. However, you can get the taco size wraps and use those as well. You just won't be able to stuff them as much. Like I said, I like mine to be packed to the brim, and with the breakfast burrito, I like them to be chock full of protein. All right, so making the wrap. All right, we're going to grab the back, and you want to try to put your filling in as uniformly as possible. You're not going to be 100% perfect, and this takes a little bit of time to get it all the way right. All right, so we're going to take the back part. You see there? When we do that, we're going to fold the sides, flip the back part over, and at this point, you just want to slowly make sure you have all your ingredients inside and give it a nice little roll. Try to make it as secure as possible. Keep those sides folded in and tucked. All right. All right. Just like that. Give the hands a quick rinse there. All right. So our breakfast burrito, breakfast wrap is a wrap, is in the books. To give that a slice right down the middle. Plate this bad boy up. And there you have it, my take on a breakfast burrito. Wrap number 1 in the books. We've got more wraps to come, so you got to stay tuned. DJ 12, this is 12's Kitchen. All right, you see how easy that was? And that was probably the hardest one we are gonna do for this entire episode. We've got 2 more. The next one I got on deck is a veggie wrap. So if breakfast is the most important meal of the day, lunch has to be pretty important too, because that's what we normally use to bridge the gap between breakfast and dinner. And again, you want something on the go. You want something that you can consume quickly. You want something that doesn't take a lot of time to prepare. Now, speaking of the veggie wrap, which is what we're about to tackle next, you know, when I first started my food prep journey, my meal prep journey, I struggled at first getting more vegetables into my daily routine. So I did a little research and looking around. I was just trying to figure out what else could I do to get more veggies into my diet, right? They say you should have 5 to 6 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, and I was falling a little bit short of that. So what I decided to do was experiment a little, and I had already gotten with the low carb wraps, and again, those have been a game changer for me. I had already gotten with the low carb wraps, and I was mostly putting protein in them. You know, like, and they're so versatile, you could do whatever you want with them. You can make your, you know, breakfast wrap as we just did, burritos, tacos, the whole 9 yards. You can create all kinds of sandwiches or wraps, roll-ups with these type of shells. So the possibilities were endless. So I thought to myself, well, why not do a vegetable wrap? And I thought about the vegetables I would like to eat in a wrap. And so I came up with this. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our veggie wrap. Alright, so the veggie wrap is going to go just as fast or faster than the breakfast burrito. You've seen the majority of the stuff I'm going to put in the veggie wrap. We're going to have some carrots, some avocado, some bell pepper, some mixed greens, and some cucumbers. So we're going to go ahead and get our cucumber going. I like to cut off the ends first. Alright. Then I generally like to half it. And then once I do that, I stand it up on the end and I cut off the skins. Now normally, I actually like the cucumber skins. However, I usually only like them as a textural component. So in this particular case, because I'm using raw veggies for my wrap, raw carrots, raw bell peppers, I've got just enough texture in this so I can go ahead and remove the skins of the cucumber. You can choose to keep them on if you like. Again, we talk about having more vitamins and minerals and we talk about having more vegetables in our diet. Well, a lot of the vitamins and minerals in those vegetables reside in the skin. Again, this is just a preference for this particular wrap or this particular application. Normally when I'm eating like a salad or whatever, I definitely keep the skins again as a textural component. So, but in this case, I'm going to go ahead and discard the skins on the cucumber. Alright. Alright, so now that I have basically peeled and halved this cucumber, I'm going to go ahead and cut it into planks because I'm going to use these planks as the base to top all my vegetables with in the wrap. So cut off, basically making some strips here, roughly about 1/8 to 1/4 inch. And again, these are going to give me a nice base on which to top with the remaining vegetables. Okay, put that to the side there. Do another one. Use that. And again, about 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch planks. Give you a nice crunch in addition to the other veggies that are going to be a part of this wrap. Okay. All right, cucumbers cut. We are going to, like I said, some planks. These are going to be the foundation. All right, so cucumbers cut. We are going to start the assembly of this wrap. We're going to pop our low-carb wrap into the microwave for a quick bit just to get it pliable enough to wrap, and then we are ready to go. Stand by. Got our wrap out of the microwave. We are ready to get assembling on the veggie wrap. Now, you'll notice me patting the wrap. It's because since this is a cold preparation, I tend to prefer the wrap to not be hot because I'm wrapping up cold vegetables or whatever. So we're good. We just want, like I said, we're going to zap it in the microwave for a sec just to get it pliable enough so it doesn't break apart on us. When we're trying to wrap it, because that's like a common thing that happens. All right, so we're going to start with this wrap. We're going to lay down some mixed greens. There's a few mixed greens. Nice variety there. Ooh. And again, you want to try to put these in as uniformly as possible. You know, it's going to kind of get away from you a little bit sometimes. just based on the nature of what you're putting inside the wrap, but that's okay. So we've got our mixed greens. We're going to go ahead and throw in some avocado, because that was another thing when I was trying to get more veggies into my diet. I started using avocado more. It is a fruit. Remember that. All right, so next we're going to go with our cucumber planks. Right on top there of the one more for good measure. All right, then we're going to add a few carrots. These are carrots that I julienne. These are from like the first episode I did. Oh, that was a little too fat for my taste, so we're going to pull that back. Just add some carrots. Add another little pop of color to this. All right. Now we're going to go with our julienne red bell pepper. Ooh. And the veggie wrap is a little more precarious, I should say. So, you know, just be careful how you're layering the vegetables. Again, it's all going to come together in the end, so it doesn't matter. All right, so we've got some bell peppers down. So carrots, cucumber, avocado, bell pepper, mixed greens. All right, one thing I like to mention, you may be tempted at this point, or probably before this point, once you lay down the cucumber, you may be tempted to salt the cucumber. I would advise against it. Just because, unless you're going to eat this wrap right away, the salt is going to draw the remaining water, because the cucumber is mostly water, right? The salt is going to draw the remaining water of the cucumber, and it will have a tendency to make your wrap soggy. So, if this is something that you are going to consume later on in the afternoon, say you're going to make it before you leave the house in the morning or whatever, just be careful with the salt, and also be careful with the dressing. We're gonna dress this now with our basil, lemon basil dressing that we made in a previous episode. And I mean, really, I made those sauces for these wraps, but I wanted to do separate shows because I wanted to show you how these wraps come together. So we just want to drizzle that right on top to give us a nice little crisp pop of citrus, as well as a little honey to mellow out the basil. So now we're ready to get wrapping, just like with the breakfast burrito. So pick up the back, fold in the sides as best you can, take your time. All right, you fold that back part over while trying to keep the sides tucked as best you can. You want to pull it towards you. I didn't mention that when making the breakfast burrito. You want to, once you fold it over the first time, you want to grab that edge and pull it towards you. That'll help secure everything that you have inside the wrap. All right, and just roll it up. I'll try to keep this nice and tight. All right, and there we have our vegetable wrap. Cut it here. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Oh, man. And this is a good little lunch item, or maybe even as a, this may even be a bridge to your lunch. You know what I'm saying? This might be a bridge to your lunch. This might be more like a mid-morning snack or something like that, if you're feeling peckish. Alright, but that is our vegetable wrap. And we'll be right back with our last wrap. Alright, 2 wraps down, 1 more to go. So the last thing we have is a chicken wrap, just some shredded chicken. The chicken, by the way, I had 2 breasts remaining from the massacre of the chicken I did in my pilot episode, so I went ahead and baked those bone in, and I went ahead and just pulled it apart, like shredded it, almost like rotisserie chicken. And you know, that's the thing for this particular wrap. If you don't feel like cooking the chicken yourself, I always prefer to cook. You could definitely pick up a rotisserie chicken from the grocery store. That's like $6. And you can shred that meat up and repurpose it all kinds of different ways. And one of the ways I like to repurpose my chicken is to just shred it, pull it apart, either use my hands or a fork, and put it in a salad, put it in a wrap, put it in a quesadilla, something like that. So you can definitely always repurpose things. So you gotta, that's one thing about meal prep, like, you know, you definitely don't want to get burnt out. I totally get that. But another thing is finding ways to creatively repurpose some of the items you've eaten before. So like leftovers don't seem like so blah. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, we're going to finish off with the chicken wrap here. And the chicken wrap here is, this could also be a lunch wrap. But I believe it is hearty enough that it can serve as a dinner wrap. You eat it with a side salad or something like that. Very filling. So we're going to jump right in. We're going to pop our low-carb wrap into the microwave to get it pliable, and then we're going to get to wrapping, assembling it and wrapping this chicken wrap. Let's go. All right, if the wrap's ready, so am I. So we're going to start with our lemon dill dressing that we did in the previous episode. This is going to have a nice little zesty pop to it. I guarantee you that. All right, so we want to spread it evenly, as we did with the chipotle on the first wrap, the breakfast burrito. And this sauce, this spread, this dressing, whatever you want to call it, is so good. I tend to go a little heavier with this. Just a little bit. But I definitely love the pop of dill. And the lemon is without question the dill is the star, but the lemon adds a nice brightness to this sauce, which will in turn add a nice brightness to your wrap. All right, so we got our sauce down. Next thing we're going to do is lay down some sprouts. I like clover sprouts, but you can get alfalfa sprouts as well. And it's just a nice alternative to add a little bit of texture. And I tell you, this is probably going to be the neatest wrap that we're going to make. Oh, and speaking of neatest wrap. Alright, so I got into a debate with a friend about what type of chicken or what type of meat do you prefer in your wraps. Like personally, I've become a fan of shredding the chicken. It's a lot more versatile in terms of the applications, I think. And as opposed to chunk chicken, if you don't properly heat your tortilla, your wrap, and you try to throw some chunk chicken in there, you may just tear your wrap apart. I don't want you to tear your wrap apart, so I'm going to suggest using shredded chicken, but you can definitely use chunk chicken for this. Alright, we just laid down some avocado there. See that? And then finally, we're going to top with some of our shredded chicken. Top that with our shredded chicken. Get that in there. Nice and tender, nice and juicy. And you can stuff as much of this in here as you darn well please. Go nuts. Because I don't want you wasting any of your chicken. That's another thing about meal prep too. I personally don't like to purchase items that I end up not consuming. That's such a waste. I don't want you wasting any money out there. So definitely find ways to repurpose some of the foods that you make throughout the course of your meal prep journey. All right, so we're ready to go. This is the simplest one of all. All right, pull up those sides, flip the back. All right, flip it over. Press it down and pull it towards you. That's the most important thing to keeping these things wrapped. When you start wrapping it, you want to pull it towards you. That'll secure everything that's inside the wrap. And you can work on, see me tucking the sides as I go. You can worry about the sides later, but you want to get that initial wrap good so that everything is securely fitting inside of your wrap. All right, and that right there is our chicken wrap. Ooh. Would you look at that? Mm, mm, mm. All right, guys. Well, that's a wrap on Rap City. Um, as always, hope you enjoyed the content as much as I enjoy providing it for you. 3 easy raps to kind of get you going and get you started. Beginning of your day, middle of your day, perhaps the end of your day. Something to get you in and out fast. Something you can eat on the go. You can eat it while you're driving or whatever. So I hope you guys, like I said, enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed putting this content together for you from the beginning of this journey all the way up until now and beyond. I love cooking. This is what I love to do just as much as I love to DJ. So, man, I'm always going to be trying to find ways to make it creative and interesting and, you know, introduce you guys to some techniques you may or may not have been familiar with in the past. So, that being said, thank you so much for joining me for this episode of 2wlv's Kitchen. I'll be back at least 1 or 2 more times. Make sure you're following 2wlv on Instagram and Twitter at DJ2wlv. As I alluded to in a previous episode, there will be an Instagram page coming dedicated specifically to 2wlv's Kitchen. But for now, you can just follow DJ12. I got a bunch of funny memes, a bunch of DJ stuff and stuff like that. So, hey, I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Look forward to seeing you next time. DJ12, I'm out.